This letter also clearly distinguishes between the Native American ways of life, which hold nature sacred, and that of the people, white people, who consider nature as their enemy. So here, through this letter, we can clearly distinguish between the Native Americans, that is the Red Indians, okay, between the Red Indians and the white Americans who call themselves as developed cultures. Okay, now this Native Americans, they considered nature as sacred, right, very holy, whereas the white people, they considered nature as their enemy. So in the conclusion, the chief said that there is a common destiny. Every one of us will end up in the same place after some years or after life. Even if you consider yourself, okay, he ends the letter in this way: even if you consider yourself superior than us, there will be a time when we'll all come to a common place. That means when we die, we'll all come back to the same place. Okay, there will be a common place for all of us. Even though your God loves you more than us. Okay, again here, even though your God loves you more than us, there will be a place where everyone will come together. Now here, so this is the end of the story of the discussion. Now here at the end, I would like to talk something about the author. Well, it is common to talk about the author of this story at the beginning of each lesson, but for the story, I thought of sharing this conclusion at the end because I want you to know about Chief Seattle only after reading the whole lesson. I want you to know how great he was, okay? Now let's see something about him. He was the great chief. He was called the great chief. Now, he waged a war, okay? There was a war. They went in a battle against the white people in order. What is the reason for? The reason behind the war was to protect their land, okay? To protect their land. But as expected, this Red Indians, they did not win the war. What is the reason? Because the white Americans, they had all the modern machineries like the guns, like the tanks, okay, like we have discussed in the story, because they were rich. They had money, power. But this Native Americans, that is the Red Americans, they had only simple weapons, okay, no modern machineries, no guns. They're just simple machineries like spears, just simple spears. So because of this reason, they did not win the war. But even though the white won the war, but they began the world, okay, the white Americans, they began to understand the importance of its words, the words that were said by Chief Seattle. The importance of it were felt by the white Americans. Now this is the reason why even after his capture, even after capturing Chief Seattle, the Americans, they named a city after him. Okay, I don't know whether you have heard the city name or not, but it's called Seattle. This city was named after Chief Seattle to honor him, because the white Americans, they understood the views of Chief Seattle and they realized how great he was in his views. Now his views, the views that Chief Seattle shared in his letter, it was important not only for America, okay, but for the whole world, but for all of us. So even though the white won the battle, but in their minds, he was the real warrior, he was the real hero, or else if they did not consider him as a real hero, then they would have not named a city after him. So this is all the story is about. I hope that you would go through a textbook to understand the lesson better. Thank you.